What's up, everybody? This is BS for Build. I'm Chris,
I'm Jeff.
and we are home. We made it back.
Woo!
We are in the BS for Build open air garage, as we like to call it, also known as a backyard. We made it back. We made it back on the trip. We drove about 2,500 miles.
Yeah.
More than that, actually, about 2,600 miles.
On the way back.
On the way back, yeah. Round trip, I just wanted to go through some of the states that we went through. We went through Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, and then Oregon again in a big, big circle. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oregon smells so good.
Oregon's
so
better than
good.
all the other states, but we don't need to brag
Yeah.
about that because some of you guys live in those other states.
Sorry, I'm partial. Love my home.
Let's see, Camaro. So we haven't updated. So the last time that we filmed anything about the Camaro, the tire blew out, and we just put a new tire on it, and then we went and got drunk. The next day, so basically the Camaro was limping along. It just started doing worse and worse and worse. And in a carbureted car, the carburetor gets tuned at a certain altitude, which in Chicago was sea level, basically 200 feet of altitude. That's how it got tuned. We were climbing, and we were at about 7,000 feet of altitude at some points. Like 2 of the days were spent over 4,000 feet of altitude. So the car hated us. It got worse. Oil leaks sprung up. ATF fluid is all over the bottom of the car. And the diff then started failing on about the day before the last day. So the diff just started snapping and popping as it was going around. Eventually we were back in Oregon. The next big thing that happened, we were servicing it every day. We'd wake up, we'd add oil, top off the ATF, check all the fluids, try and tune the carburetor the best we can. We don't know anything about carburetors, so we just had to do our best. That was fun to learn.
Yeah.
But so then we're heading over an overpass, and we're climbing a hill, and car gets a little bit wobbly. And I radio to Jeff. I'm like, something's wrong, but I'm going to try and make it. And just as I was saying, I'm trying to make it. The tire doesn't just like run flat. It explodes, and the car just veers off to the right really, really hard. I tried to hold it, and I was able to kind of safely but really quickly end up on the right side of the road.
Narrowly avoiding the road work ahead sign.
Yeah, I almost smashed a road work ahead sign. And
the tire pieces were flying at me as I'm driving behind him. I'm like, well, your tire looks wobbly. Boom! And just pieces just flying everywhere. It was crazy.
And then the ripped up tire like hit the fender, and luckily there's no good paint on there in the first place, so didn't really matter.
Win for poor paint jobs.
Yeah, it was a total win for that. So a couple battle scars from the trip. So we pulled over the car, we drove up to the next city, we got a new tire, and we came back, we put the next tire on, and we just kept driving, and we made it. The last day we drove about 550 miles or 570 miles on the car. It took us about 8 or 9 hours total.
Oh, it was 14 hours.
Okay, it took us 14 hours.
We started at 8 a.m. in Mountain Time, and then we got back here at 9 Pacific Time. So it was like 13 hours plus the hour changeover.
Yeah, it was a long trip. To say the least, we're happy to be home.
Yeah.
Highlights.
I
could think of a couple. Well, you think of some.
Sure.
Yellowstone is awesome. Bison walking in the road. We've been finding from other people like on Instagram and stuff that like we think the bison just like that the road is a clear path, because one of the pro drifters that I follow on Instagram, he's in Yellowstone. Same problem. Bison traffic jam. Hilarious.
But they just know that they have the right of way all the time, so they're like, I'm gonna walk through the road.
What else was like really recently? There was that crazy full moon. We were in. Oh, where were we for that? We were in Colorado for that.
We were in Colorado, yeah. That was awesome.
It was we had a great view, and it was just really cool. Some of the camping spots that we found on the way back were actually really kind of nice and kind of cool. So that was fun. If anybody does, so here's some interesting stuff about the cars. If anybody does this, we messed up on the paperwork with the cars. We didn't get the titles transferred over into our names after we purchased the cars. So what happens there is you cannot really legally in a lot of states take a salvage car with a title that's not been transferred full ownership and tagged as rebuilt in the state of whatever state you're in and go to another state. So basically when we were in Chicago, it was time to re-up our trip permits for the cars, and Chicago says, well, these vehicles are illegal, you just can't have them here. And I was like, well, I'm going to leave if you give me this trip permit and we can just wash our hands of this issue. And they did. They gave us a trip permit. So if anybody wants to do this in the future, get full-on registration for the vehicles. At least get the title transferred into your own name.
Yeah.
Maybe not get plates. You get the title transferred into your name, then do trip permits, and then wherever you are in the country, if you want to auction the car off, you can. But when
Right.
we ended up in Chicago and I tried to take the Lexus to the auction place, you can't auction the car. So I sold the Lexus private party. We're gonna sell the Subaru. We probably won't fix it up at all. It's just gonna be, B is for build style. Subaru goes up for sale in Oregon. I'd like to sell it private party rather than auctioning it off, but we'll see how that goes. We're keeping the Camaro, obviously. This is the first time we've actually shot most of the cars for BS for Build. So we got the S2000, the BRZ, and the Mustang. The Mustang we haven't talked about at all, but there's 2 turbochargers in my basement that want to end up on that, and we'll get there someday.
Room.
Any other highlights for you? What can you think about?
Well, I mean, the whole thing was a highlight. The last couple days were just so long, it's hard for me to recall off the top of my head. I still have like 8 postcards that I need to write out to my girlfriend. And so I can recap and get it all fresh in my head. But yeah, it was a lot of great views. A lot of
Speaking of
beautiful-
views, the Badlands, South Dakota, that was cool.
That was awesome.
Car cooking was fun.
Yeah, car cooking was a lot of fun. It was so easy too.
Definitely do that
I was
again.
really
We'll definitely
blown
do that
away.
again sometime.
I'm tempted to do that just next time I go camping. Like,
Yeah,
buy another lasagna, some garlic bread, throw them on there, just find the hottest part of the car.
yeah. A couple people wrote in and were wondering, well, what happened to the mortar launcher on the front of the Lexus? It all still exists. Basically, what happened is we stopped in South Dakota and bought a ton of illegal fireworks. And then I did hook up. I had a switch that I could flip inside the dash of the Lexus, and it would blast mortars off of the front. But where we were, it was so dry, and there's been so many forest fires this year. We didn't want to risk lighting anybody's land on fire, farmland.
And then just leaving the state and letting them deal with it.
There's a lot of really dry corn everywhere. We really couldn't find anywhere that wasn't that dry.
Yeah.
But all that stuff still exists. I'm really thinking about wiring them basically to go down in the Camaro, because the Camaro doesn't have an alarm system, but what I could do is I could wire them to go down, and if somebody opens the door and doesn't hit the kill switch, then it'll blast off all the mortars, and I'll know that somebody's trying to get into my car, and it'll scare the shit out of them, which will be brilliant. So I'm thinking about wiring them into the Camaro, but we still have the mortars and we still have all the wiring, which was really cool. A flip switch ignition for fireworks is a pretty cool thing to have, and you get some strange looks in the where you're building out. Write in if anybody wants a tutorial. We will teach you how to launch rockets from your car. You just have to promise not to blame us when you blow yourself up.
Yeah,
But
don't try it at home.
But if anybody wants to know, yeah, just write in. I've always had a dream with this Mustang here. I actually wanted to build rocket launchers onto it. So we're just that much closer. This was like a proof of concept for rocket launching abilities. Any other highlights?
It was the whole thing was pretty amazing. Getting to see the country.
Historical reference for today. Today is the day that Oregon has legalized marijuana in our state. So when we look back at this video, like 5 years and 5 other states have done it. We were not first and not second, but we were third. So that's kind of cool.
Portland will forever be engulfed in a plume of marijuana smoke from this day forward.
Can't be any worse than Colorado.
It's true.
What's the future for the channel? A lot of people have been whining about the BRZ. The BRZ is the next episode, and it'll be the next episode after that, and the next episode after that. I have 1 more month of vacation. Jeff's going to get back to work, but he'll still be here working when he's not at work. I'm on vacation for another month, so the videos will be coming like every 2 days or every 3 days. I have nothing to do other than work on cars. So BRZ is top priority. I am going to be doing stuff for the Camaro, but as you can imagine, I'm ordering parts and worrying about how to fix a rear differential that's about to fall into pieces and other things like that. So there'll be BRZ episodes, some Camaro episodes, maybe some Mustang episodes. We're not going to jump into the S2000 quite yet just because I'm not ready for another project, but there is stuff planned for this car as well in the future. It might go choo-choo, it might not, I don't know.
Choo-choo, like a train?
Turbo.
Oh.
We will not be doing any more road trip episodes. That's not happening ever again. We
Fun but exhausting.
it's exhausting. It was the whole drive film thing it gets hard, and not knowing
Right.
where you're at, it's hard to find what to do to make it interesting.
Right.
Other things that might happen in the future, we have pipe dreams of doing some rally car action, maybe a budget rally car. Let us know if you're interested in that. We are in Oregon. We have a lot of roads that we can go off-roading on and drive fast.
Yeah.
That's one of the legal, free motorsports that we can do out here. And I would love to race Jeff again. Our BS for Build Rally Stage Part 1 was another highlight that I had. I had a lot of fun with that.
If only it was gravel.
Yeah, if only it was like,
Then
gravel.
you would have actually destroyed your radiator on the Lexus for sure.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have made it out of Oregon.
So let us know if you're interested in that. It'd probably be around winter or time or so, but yeah, we could do an episode. I really want to build a budget rally car, so we'll see how that goes. Write in with what you guys would like to see, and stay tuned for a BRZ episode. It's going to be part 7. We're going to be working on the wide body kit. Coming the day after tomorrow.
Peace for Bill.
Peace.